Good morning. So, just as Reverend Waogong was saying, the topic for me this morning and for all of us is temple life, body and mind practice. We human beings love to use tools. We use pots and pans when we cook. We use hoses and shovels when we garden. We use computers to create and exchange ideas. We drive cars, fly planes, play musical instruments, brew coffee, light candles, turn knobs, and press keys. But there is one tool we each have that is truly fundamental to our lives, the tool of our physical body. Think about this for a minute. Look at your hands. No, look at them. Look. Consider what they do. Touch your head. Pat your legs. Just like the tools we create with our hands, the body we inhabit is a source of vast possibilities. But if our body is a tool, what is its intended purpose? Master Chung San said, "Physical life is a side job. Spiritual life is the main occupation." Well, true enough, but then why am I talking to you about the side job of your body, your personal tool for a physical life? I am talking about our bodies this morning because I have been surprised in recent years to have discovered their power in our spiritual lives. After all, Master Chung San did not say to completely ignore our physical life. He simply invited us to consider its relative importance. For most of my life, I pretty much ignored my body or treated it as a mere workhorse. Physical adolescence occurred without much interest by me, and once I was an adult, I understood myself as someone who could physically work hard, and then proceeded to do so. So here's what that approach looked like most of the time. Skip breakfast and maybe around lunchtime-ish, grab something, anything, on the fly. Catch sleep whenever. 4 to 5 hours per night is enough. And of course, the imperative, do not take breaks. They are a waste of time, and there is a lot of stuff that needs to get done seriously. So, if you asked me about this approach, I would have said that it was reasonable. I was productive. Stuff got done. And then I walked through the doors of this temple and life changed. The change was not dramatic. It grew as an accumulation of small experience and little shifts. My first experience came a couple of months after I arrived. I was volunteering at that summer's teen camp, and after lunch one day, Reverend Waogong told me that I should take a rest and invited me to lie down in the tea room. It was nice to lie there on the cool floor in a quiet room, but for me, it was also a startling thing to do in the middle of such a busy day. I don't remember feeling especially tired, but I certainly remember being surprised by her direction. And that surprise was the first of many. Additional ones revealed themselves as my volunteer time at the temple increased. This mostly began when I started attending 7:30 a.m. meditation on Tuesday mornings. Eventually, I started leading 7 a.m. meditation and then realized that if I just stayed at the temple afterwards and volunteered, the Kyomanims could plan ahead for the things they needed help with. So, Temple Tuesdays became a thing. And for a while now, I also have been making lunch on those days. This lessens the Kyomanim's burden of meal preparation for one meal during the week, and it is a nice way to contribute to their well-being. All in all, this has worked out well for our Kyomanims, as my presence here every Tuesday frees up their time so they can focus on their Dharma work. It brings them predictability, reliability, extra hands, and nutrition. It has been nice for me as it allows me to regularly work alongside my teachers and experience temple life from within. On occasion, I also have had the gift of experiencing temple life in the evening and at night. Sometimes this is because I am attending an overnight retreat here. At other times, it is because of Reverend Walgong's gracious and kind invitation. I have some vision impairments and am unable to drive at night when it's dark. So spending the night at the temple from time to time means I have been able to participate in the Turtle Dharma classes and other special evening programs in the winter. It also allows me to attend early morning meditation the following day when the mornings are too dark for me to drive. So that pretty much describes my walk here in the life of our temple. Here are some aspects of its daily life that have really caught my attention. Breakfast is a meal, eaten every day. One sits down to eat breakfast, and the breakfast one eats is healthy. It might include eggs, fruit, toast, soup, nuts, vegetables, or leftovers, but it is always healthy. Noon is a time to sit down and eat a simple but healthy lunch. Throughout the day, it is good for sitting work and physical work to be interspersed with each other. Work in general fares better if it is intermingled with breaks that include beverages and snacks, exercise, laughter, and sometimes a round of Tai Chi. Evenings are a time to cultivate peaceful night energy. After 9:30 prayer, the day's energy is allowed to ease itself and settle. Hustle and bustle are absent. People sleep at night, they do not work. Feeling physically better after having experienced these aspects of temple life made me want to experiment with its kind approach. My first experiment was breakfast. I chose this because since I work at the temple all day on Tuesdays, the Kyomanims offer me breakfast after I finish leading 7:30 a.m. meditation. It will not surprise you to learn that when I eat a similar breakfast at home or in the car, I feel pretty good. The same proved true for more sleep and quieter nights. Over time, I began to see how my physical state was directly impacting my spiritual one. Here's an example. Several years ago, I decided to stop running late, as it was creating anxiety for me and disruption for others. So I made a goal to arrive to meetings 5 minutes early. Over time, I improved, but not as much as I would have expected. I thought that maybe I just wasn't determined enough. Then, this past summer, I watched myself stay up late, which I like to do and can easily rationalize, wake up short on sleep, lie in bed until the last possible moment just to get a few more seconds of sleep, drag myself out of bed, rush around, race out the door feeling impatient at red lights and slow cars because I probably wasn't going to get to my destination 5 minutes early. On the nights I was more disciplined and slept for 7 or 8 hours, I woke up more easily and felt rested. There was no need to rush, and the day often unfolded more peacefully for myself and those around me. I was more alert during meditation. I more frequently got to meetings early, and my beloved spouse informs me that I was much more pleasant to live with. The problem wasn't my lack of determination during the day. It was my decision the night before to prioritize mental stimulation and dreams of accomplishment over the needs of my human body. The result was not merely a tired body, but my very own creation of anxiety, stress, disruption, turmoil, and edgy responses to those around me. This is not a good outcome for someone who wants to help heal the world. So now, I regularly sleep at night. I have benefited from shaping my physical life on the pattern of temple life in other ways as well. Over the last 7 years, I have lost 50 pounds. My blood pressure has returned to normal. My body is stronger and more flexible. I feel more rested and alert. And I have regained an inch in height. All of this is very confusing to my doctors, who were not expecting this outcome at my age. I recently shared this information with Reverend Waogong because I could tell she was concerned I was working too hard outside this summer. I share it with you not to convince you to begin a rigid temple-infused self-improvement program or because I think eating lunch will keep me from aging, but rather to consider the profound interdependence our physical body has on our spiritual life. While the structure of temple life is perfectly aligned with scientific knowledge about the effects of adequate sleep and good nutrition, it is also kindly aligned with the energy of the day and night, the human experience, and our path to enlightenment. Each morning dawns with quiet meditation. Each evening nurtures rest, quiet, and prayer. The day is interspersed with action and rest, yin and yang. This is a balanced and compassionate way to live, and it didn't show up at our temple by accident. It was intentionally created by our Kyomanims who were following important guidance from our third head Dharma master, Venerable Chwasan, who said, "Attaining the great way lies in simply following a daily routine." Many of us here today, myself included, often focus on returning to our true nature. We think about mind practice, ultimate truth, true voidness, marvelous existence, non-duality, and interconnectedness. What I am now beginning to appreciate is that our physical bodies are not separate from these truths. Our bodies are not mere suits of skin and muscles and neurons along for the ride. Our bodies are expressions of the universe. And just as I benefit myself and the world by aligning my mind with ultimate truth, I also benefit myself and the world by aligning my body with the universe, of which I am a reflection. There is a hwadu, a koan in Won Buddhism that goes like this. A person who practices well is not separate from their true nature. How does one practice so as not to be separate from one's true nature? This hwadu is telling us that the practice and practitioner are not separate. Each is the other. The same is true of our physical bodies and our practice. They are not separate. Each simultaneously unfolds into the other. Whenever we practice compassion using our physical bodies, the world experiences clarity, harmony, and healing. Whenever we practice compassion towards our physical bodies, we experience alignment with the universe and alignment with our spirituality. In a recent Thursday morning Dharma study group, we read the following guidance from Master Chung San. Make your resolution extraordinary and your conduct ordinary. I cannot think of anything that sounds more ordinary than establishing a daily routine. Yet, the act of weaving our body practice and mind practice together in such a simple way is the very thing that can help us embody our personal vows and reach our most important goals. After all, our physical body is the most fundamental physical tool we have. It is not separate from our true nature. It is not separate from our practice. It is not separate from anything. Thank you.